Good morning, everyone. Magandang umaga po, maayong buntag Edmonton, and welcome to the third episode of Meet the Press, brought to you by the Philippine Media Association of Alberta. My name is Marjorie Newman, and I'm your host today. Canadians are heading to the polls on September 20th, and part of PMAA's vision is to provide or disseminate correct information, especially to the Filipino community, for them to be able to make an informed decision. And we also believe that engaging candidates is a vital part of the democratic process. Joining me this morning is the Honorable Tim Uppal. He's seeking re-election for Member of Parliament for Edmonton Millwoods and the liaison for Canada's official opposition. He previously served as the Minister of State for Democratic Reform and the Minister of State for Multiculturalism during Prime Minister Stephen Harper's Conservative government. Prior to entering politics, he was a residential mortgage manager for TD Canada Trust, served as a senior advisor to the Conservative Party of Canada, and he was also the executive director, and guess what? I'm so surprised to learn about this, a radio host of a radio show on CKER in Edmonton. Born in BC but raised in Edmonton, a father of three and the loving husband to his wife Kiran. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Honorable Tim Uppal. Good morning. How are you this morning?
Very good. Thank you. It's great to be here.
And it's so nice for you to be here, to be joining us here this morning. Thank you so much. So, I'd like to start right away.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So, first question for you. What are the top 5 priority programs of the Federal Conservative Party of Canada?
For us, jobs. Number one thing is for jobs. We've lost so many jobs during COVID, but I know in Alberta, it actually started well before COVID. Back when the Liberals brought in C-69, the bill that really hurt our economy, there was so much investment that left Alberta. With that, hundreds of thousands of jobs left as well. And so our priority is to bring those jobs back, including also jobs that we've lost during COVID. Another thing is to secure just to work on issues of mental health for Canadians. It's really been something that has been a problem for quite some time, but also during COVID, things have just gotten worse, and we need to invest in our system. On healthcare, but also mental health as well, and I think that's very important. On accountability, we've had these scandals, Justin Trudeau scandals, that have come and gone, and I know people forget about them, but they have real consequences, but they don't actually have any, justice doesn't come out of them. And so, the Ethics Commissioner has found Justin Trudeau and some of his cabinet guilty of these scandals, but nothing's come out of it. There's been no real punishment. And so I think we need to have a system where that actually happens, right? We want to secure the economy overall, beyond jobs, is to ensure that we start to balance the budget. Not right away, but in kind of a medium term, so over the next 10 years, to manage our money better. The Liberals have spent so much money recently, and some of it we agree with. Canadians needed help, and so we supported that help. But then there's so much other money that they've spent, billions and billions of dollars, that now, not just our kids, but our grandkids will be paying for this. And so we need to be able to control that now and manage our money better, and to ensure that we're actually getting results for the money that we spend. When we spend money to help Canadians, or we spend money to create jobs or to help, that's fine. I actually think that's a good idea. But then there's other money that's just being out there that is really turning into a waste, and is going to liberal connected firms and that. So we really need to connect that to manage that better. So those are our overall our priorities. We want also to ensure that we're making more things in Canada. Let's have more manufacturing in Canada. Let's secure our country by making sure that we have vaccines that we're making in Canada, and other issues, things that would protect us better too. So those are our priorities, and all of that put together with our leader Erin O'Toole, we're going to secure Canada for the future.
Okay, thank you. Now, speaking of money, according to a report from the Canadian Taxpayers Federation Canada's, in average, each Canadian will owe $57,500. Now, if you form government, how do you intend to address this matter?
What this is Canadian Taxpayers Federation is looking at numbers of what Canadians will have to pay overall with all everything that's going up with taxes, and I don't even think these numbers include inflation. And so the price of everything is going up. If you're trying to get gas or if you're getting, groceries, all the prices gone up. So your taxes are gone up. Inflation has caused everything you're purchasing to go up. And so we need to get all of this under control. Why this is happening right now is because Justin Trudeau is essentially just printing money, and that's, spending so much, that's causing the inflation. But also, when you've spent this much money, he's going to recover it one way or another, and he's going to tax Canadians to recover it. That's the only way he can get that money back. So that's why I'm saying we need to have a better spending plan to manage our money better, create jobs so we don't have to tax Canadians like that.
Okay, thank you. Now, this is one question that Albertans are asking. What is your party's vision for Alberta's energy future?
That's very, very important because, even before COVID, the Liberals have done so much damage to Alberta's energy industry. And like I said, there's so many jobs that have left, and we've just lost those jobs because companies have left Alberta. And so we need to bring that investor confidence back. We want companies around the world to know that they can invest here in Alberta and right across Canada. And so if you're, coming here to invest and building something, and Canadian companies too who have also left. So we want those Canadian companies to be able to build here in Alberta, and so they could have the backing of the government. We would be able to work with these companies and ensure that if there's regulation there, that it's regulation that actually makes sense, not overly burdensome, and so get these projects built. And that'll help us, sell our energy at the world market, and again make it profitable to be in the energy business here in Alberta.
Okay. So in relation to that question, what will your party do to support a competitive energy industry in Canada?
Yeah, I think a lot of that comes back down to kind of the laws to have the environment, the regulations that actually are competitive. Because what continues to happen with the Liberals is that we're continuously beating up our own industry, and so that and then we're not competitive around the world anymore, and so a lot of those jobs are leaving. Those projects just aren't being built, and so that's what we need to do, is to ensure that we are competitive. We can be environmentally friendly. We already have a great human rights record on this issue, because if we stop producing oil, it's just going to be covered with, the gap will be filled by countries like Iran and, Russia and others. So we're much better off producing that here in Canada.
Yeah, that would have been my next question. Like, how will your party strike a balance between the economy and the environment?
Yeah, and that's very important, because a lot of people think it's one or the other. I think we can do both. I think there's
interesting.
Yeah, we can build the economy up. We can support our energy sector. Our energy sector here, especially here in Alberta, is actually, much better in the sense of our overall footprint than many others around the world. We can actually export that technology to other parts of the world, have them use the technology that we're doing here, have them do what we're doing here, and bring global emissions down. Climate change is a global problem. It's not just a Canada problem. And I know the Liberals continue to beat up on our industry as if it's a Canadian problem. It's not just a Canadian problem. It is a global problem. Canada needs to be a part of the solution, but also that doesn't mean that we should be shutting down our industry and hurting ourselves, our economic future, just for that reason. So I think we can continue to grow in a safe and responsible way, but also help other parts of the world to also reduce emissions overall.
I have to ask this question because as a regulated Canadian immigration consultant, our families, our permanent residents, our Canadian citizens are trying to sponsor their parents, sponsor their spouses. There's just been a huge backlog in immigration.
Huge.
Like, it's unbelievable. So what is the Conservative plan for immigration? And how are you going to address all these backlogs? In fact, under the Parents and Grandparents Program, if you did not submit an interest to sponsor form last year, there's no way.
There's no way.
Yeah. Like, so for this year, if you did not submit last year, you cannot submit an interest to sponsor form this year. So you have to wait next year. So what does your party do?
Yeah, no, it's very important. I mean, I'm from Mill Woods, and so we have so many, communities from different parts of the world, and they want their families to be united here in Canada. Canada's the best country in the world, so why wouldn't we want, people want to come here? I grew up with my grandmother in my house, and so I know how important that is. And so, it's something that we as a party also value, that we need that family unification. So we will work on to improve that system to allow families to connect. And of course, I mean, especially with spouses, that itself, that's too long. And then the parents and grandparents, this lottery system that the Liberals put in, it's not working. It's hurting families, and it's hurting even the economy, because a lot of these families that come here help to take care of the kids. So we're keeping kids out of daycare; they're able to be taken care at home, and then and the parents are going to work. So that is everything that's kind of like a part for a lot of families. That's a better solution, and we should be able to work with families to help them in that way.
Okay, thank you. People have been saying or making comments that you don't reside in Millwoods. So do you have any comment?
Yeah, I mean, I have a residence in Millwoods, and that's there. But I've been very upfront with people that all MPs from September to the end of June go to Ottawa about 5 days a week, 4 to 5 days a week, because Parliament is sitting, so everybody's there. And so I have a special needs son, and so my kids go to school in Ottawa because I'm there 5 days a week. Just like all other MPs, I come back on the weekends. I travel here when Parliament's not sitting. I've been here almost all summer. I've been here and meeting with constituents. So I meet with constituents the same as all other MPs. It's just that my kids go to school in Ottawa. This is the same as David Kilgore did for 26 years. He was a member of Parliament in Millwoods. He had the same setup. His kids were in school in Ottawa, and other MPs as well. So and I mean, I don't apologize for ensuring that I'd be able to spend some time with my family, but I also am very, very much committed to my constituents as well.
Of course, I understand. So as you're aware, there's a provincial referendum coming up in October. So what are your thoughts on equalization?
I think it's very important that we look at our the equalization formula itself. The formula was supposed to be reviewed, and the Liberals didn't review it, because when times were good, I know, talking to Albertans, they're fine contributing into the big pot, when times are good. But when times are bad, we have to look at that formula and say, hey, listen, we're not making this much anymore. So, and we need help here. So I think it's a good idea to review that and look at the whole equalization itself, and we have committed to do that review.
Okay, thank you. So I think that we only have 5 minutes remaining. So let me ask these two questions. What's the party prepared to do to protect law-abiding gun owners?
Here's the thing. I mean, we are the party that are going to protect people's property rights. We are ones that say that, instead of focusing on the law-abiding gun owners who have gotten licenses and have done everything properly, who've gotten their background checks, why are we focusing on them? We should be focusing on the drug smugglers, the gun smugglers, the criminals. So let's put our focus on them and allow the hunters and sport shooters to do their thing, and really put our efforts on them. And I think that's a much better way to go, and that's our commitment from our party.
All right, thank you. So I was wrong earlier. I said we only have 5 minutes remaining. So what they're saying is we're taking a 5-minute break, right? Okay, thank you.
That's a good idea.
Of Alberta, we're very grateful. It's very much appreciated, your presence here this morning. So I just have a few questions remaining.
Sure.
Some people are saying that the Federal Conservative Party plans to privatize healthcare.
That is something the Liberals have been saying. That is not in our platform. We have never said that we want to privatize healthcare. We actually want to support healthcare. We are the only party that is saying that we should increase the transfers, the percentages. Currently, that 3%, we're saying it should go to 6% to provide more money for healthcare, and that will help to pay for all aspects of healthcare. So we want to help more. I mean, we have an aging population. We need to make sure that we're supporting our nurses and supporting our healthcare system, and so we would provide more.
Okay, thank you for clarifying that. Can you please explain the Conservatives' plan on lowering the cell and internet bills for Canadians?
A lot of that's going to come with, so this is something that I know the Liberals have promised a few times, and this time they didn't even bother promising because they didn't do it. What we would do is to look at bringing in more competition. As you know, anytime in a business environment where there is a freer market, when there's more competition, that competition generally brings the prices down. And so we would look at bringing in competition from countries that also allow Canadian companies to compete as well. So places like Europe or maybe more American companies or others that can come here and provide great cell phone service. We go to other countries and they have great services. We could do the same thing here at a lower cost.
Okay. So each party has their own priority programs, right? But then you're as a member of parliament, you're supposed to serve your constituency. The question here is, what if somebody from your constituency has a concern? So how are they going to reach out to you? Like, how are you going to make it possible for them to address their concern, issue?
Yeah, so we have people all the time coming into our office that I meet with, in person, and during COVID is virtually, or a phone call, and people email our office, and we look at all these emails and to ensure that people's voices are heard on a particular issue. And a lot of times, if something's in the news, we get a lot of people who call in and say, hey, I agree with this or don't agree with it. And I really appreciate the opportunity to meet with people individually, one-on-one. But also, I know I've done this with the Filipino community, is to meet with community leaders to get a voice. We hold kind of like opportunities for people to meet and greet and in a casual way to raise issues. So throughout the year, we've been doing we have a number of different ways that we can that make sure that I hear from our constituents to ensure that I'm representing them properly.
Yeah. And I have to say this, that as an immigration consultant, I've been sending so many clients to Tim's office, and his staff has been really amazing in assisting all my clients. They all live in your area, in Millwoods, and I have to say, I have to mention Jesse. He's just amazing. Just amazing. Like, everything or everyone that I have referred to him, he did really good. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
On behalf of my clients, thank you very much. So, my final question. So why do you think this federal election is very important?
I think it's very important because Justin Trudeau really called this election as like a power grab to try to get a majority, and right in the middle of a pandemic, and right when the international crisis of Afghanistan was happening, and they should have been focusing on that, and a number of other issues where. So now, it's up to Canadians that, are they going to reward him for that behavior, or to vote for a party that actually has a plan? Even if you ask Justin Trudeau today, what's your plan on a number of these issues, they really don't have a plan. Aaron O'Toole is he's got a military background. He's in the military, and so he knows right away that you have to have a plan. And so we have a plan to secure Canada, to secure the future, to secure jobs. And so I think it's very important that Canadians have an opportunity to hear that, and hopefully vote for a government that has a plan, not only to get us through COVID, but for a number of years as well to recover, and also to flourish as well.
Okay. So before we end this episode, do you have any closing remarks? Especially for the people in Millwoods,
well, for the people
the Filipino community.
Yes, everybody. I had great support from Filipino community in the past, and I would really appreciate for that to continue. Advance poll are open today. They have been open all weekend, so today Sunday 9 to 9 and Monday 9 to 9.
If they want to vote
so there's 3 different locations in Millwoods. There's the Millwoods Senior Center right near Town Center. You can actually vote inside Town Center as well. There's the Thelma Shalafu School if you're in a little bit kind of like northern Millwoods, and then in the southeast part there's Sven Hansen School. So depending on where you are, check your voter card. It'll give you information of where you vote. We can advance vote. I'm hearing there's not many, it's not a long lineup, so just in and out. It only takes a few minutes, and it's important to get out every single vote possible.
Yes, thank you. So on behalf of the Philippine Media Association of Alberta, I'd like to thank you, Tim, for joining us this morning. And of course, 1 million thanks to Palabok House, yay, for providing us the free venue, Palabok House, especially through Miss Lydia Jimenez and Mr. Eddie Gonzalez. And I would like to recognize and acknowledge as well the executive officers of the PMAA. We have the president, Mr. Nicky Gukuan, yay! And Mr. Mo de la Cora, yay! And of course, the man behind the camera, Dario Juanilio. Thank you so much. And thank you very much for joining us. Thank you for watching. And please watch out our 4th episode next Sunday, same time and same place. Have a blessed Sunday, everyone. Good morning.